And it's preparing. Oh, and it's preparing, and that means it's live. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jeanette Martin. Brand ambassador for myself today for my W5 story sessions. I just love getting to know people, and my company is all about the 3 C's of me: collaborations, community, and connection. And I'm going to say that this one is a new connection for me in this last month, maybe 2 months, Zoom networking with business in Langley. And I know a little bit about this particular who, but let's get a little deeper. So who are you?
Hey, everybody. I'm Alex Cronje. And as Jeanette mentioned, I had the pleasure of meeting her on a Business in Langley networking call through the whole new virtual world here due to the pandemic we're living in.
Yes.
So a little bit about myself. Well, I guess I'll go right back to my roots. I was born in South Africa. I have a Canadian mom and a South African father, and I lived there until I was about 8 years old, at which point we immigrated back to Canada, where my mother's from. And that's what really started my life here. Didn't have a choice, but I became Canadian. So I've lived in Ontario up until about 2 years ago, at which point I moved out to Vancouver. I love to be outdoors, so that's part of the reason I'm out here. I also love the ocean. I grew up right next to it, right across from the Indian Ocean. So ever since we came to Canada, I had a yearning to be back by the sea, and I had always wanted to be on the West Coast. Never even had the opportunity to visit until about 2.5 years ago, at which point I came out for the first time. Instantly fell in love. I think it was actually a palm tree that pushed me over the edge.
A palm tree here?
Yeah, right in Vancouver. And I saw a palm tree and I said, these can grow in Canada. And at that point I said, I need to move here. I actually had plans to quit my job, move out here and kind of start all over. And things just turned out so well that the week after I arrived back home from my first trip to the West Coast, I had an opportunity to move with my existing job to Vancouver and open up a new office that March. So things
cool.
were sorry?
I always say, like, that's cool. It's funny how the universe works.
Exactly. Things just happened exactly how they should. So I guess a little bit more about me too is, I said I love the ocean. So I'm an avid scuba diver. I have my advanced certification. I love hiking, camping. So you can typically find me outdoors when I have the opportunity to get outside. And I also love art. So you can see behind me, I have a few different pieces of artwork. So those are the 3 main core components, I guess, that make me who I am.
We're kindred spirits, because if you could see my cottage, I believe in when you go traveling, when you get to meet an artist and look them in the eyes and know their story and be a bit of a steward of their creativity every time you see a piece of art. So we're a kindred spirit with that. So in your business, what do you do?
Well, so I'm working for a new company that's just launched over here on the West Coast. It's called Ruckify, and I'm the city growth manager for them. So they are a new app that has just launched within the last couple of years, and it's all about sharing, collaborating with the idea of reducing consumerism. So the app itself is a marketplace. So you can picture things like Airbnb or Craigslist, where people take things they own and have the opportunity to connect with others and share them. But instead of focusing on buying and selling like Craigslist does, we're focusing on renting. So it's more in line with Airbnb, but instead of focusing on places and spaces, we've opened up the opportunity to things, because we all own a lot of things that sit around your house that are useful to you, but you're not always using them. And there's opportunity to share those things with people when they might have a need to use it and you're not. So we've created a platform to allow people to safely post items that they own to share with others in their community. So the whole idea behind it is reducing the need to buy things that you're not going to use often, because chances are somebody close by has that item already that they're not using. And by sharing, we can reduce wastefulness, help people save money instead of going out and purchasing things that ultimately end up collecting dust or wind up in the landfill. And at the same time, we're creating an opportunity for people to make income off of things they've already bought. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah. It's kind of like my stand mixer that every once in a while I get motivated to bake with, and it kind of sits there. It looks beautiful on my baker's rack, but if it could be making money. So that leads to the where. So where geographically does the app cover?
So we are operating in a number of cities across North America right now. It started in Ottawa, which is really cool. It's a Canadian company. So that was their first marketplace where the two founders are living. They decided to kick it off there. But it's also up and running in Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, and the Lower Mainland area, as I mentioned. And then we're also in Austin, Texas, Denver, Colorado, and Nashville, Tennessee. So it's North America wide. With that being said, whichever community you're living in, whether you're in Saskatchewan or Quebec, the opportunity is there to even start a marketplace. It's just we don't have teams in place working on building them, but the app is on the App Store for Apple, as well as the Google App Store for any Android devices, and it's a web app as well, so you can access it online. But obviously, in order for it to work, you have to have both people with items, a supply available in your area to be able to rent. So we are currently focusing on those cities.
So when did you decide that this is what you wanted to do, Alex?
Well, I decided 2 years before I even got the job. So I was actually at an event in Ottawa where I was living, working at my old job. And I stumbled upon Ruckify. They were at the same event, and I got an opportunity to learn about what they were doing. And I expressed an interest in their whole idea. I really believed in what they were doing, and I had the chance to actually sit down with the founder and discuss a possible opportunity to work with them. Things didn't line up perfectly at the time. I had just started my job I was working in, so I was pretty hesitant on leaving, and they had just taken things off the ground, so there was a lot changing at the time. And I think for good reason, we kind of missed each other on that mark. But then, like I mentioned, I had the opportunity to come out west. So at that point, I reached out again to Steve Cody, the founder of Ruckify, and I said, you know what, I'm moving to Vancouver. I love what you guys are doing. Please keep in touch. I'm going to keep my eye on what you guys are up to. And when you come out to the West Coast, I would love to be a part of this team, because it's something I'd really love to, spread awareness of and be a part of at the same time. And so, like I mentioned, I ended up coming out west with my old job, and a year passed. I wasn't very happy doing what I was doing. It wasn't really aligning with myself personally. And I actually decided to quit my job last December and go travel for a couple months. At which point, when I arrived back, the pandemic hit. And so I was out of a job along with a huge number of other people. Luckily, we have a great government that supported me through the pandemic. I was able to take part in those programs. And then mid-June, I saw that Ruckify was heading out to Vancouver. So I reached out to the right people and just reminded them that I'm here and interested and really want to be a part of it. And I got the opportunity to join the team. So awesome. End of June, I finally got to join. So 2 years in the making, I'm here now.
That's incredible. And things happen, as they all say. We all like to challenge for the reason, but things happen for a reason in succession. So I always like to wrap these up with, Alex, what's your ultimate why in life?
Wow, that's a big one. I think connections,
Oh,
just that's the most valuable thing I think we can make is connecting with people to help them along their path. And, in turn, you'll always find help from other people as well. So that's huge. I've moved many places throughout my life, and I've had the opportunity to make connections with people all over. And the opportunities that come from those are just so valuable. So being able to connect with one another, help each other along the way on their journey, and in turn, the help always comes back to you. So I think that's the biggest thing that we can really pursue is connecting, right? And collaborating. I
that's
know you mentioned
awesome.
those two C's at the beginning of our conversation.
Oh, and then it becomes part of community. And that's what I love. Like you get the connection and they kind of, okay, can we collaborate and do something that's going to benefit the community? Or the community comes to you and you're like, okay, but who do I know that I can collaborate to get this connection? And it all is such a great secular motion in my world. And it's the 3 C's of me. And I'm so grateful that you spent some time with me today. So there you go. You learned, and I learned some new things about Alex as well. We'll make sure in the comments when this uploads that we put his information in. And there you go. If you've got something hanging around that you can rent out, take a look, connect with him, and it'll make a little bit of cash on the side. And I know he's got other programs that he's working with nonprofits as well. There's some opportunity there too. So thank you so much. Tune in again. You're very welcome. Tune in again next Monday for another W5 story session. Don't know who it's going to be yet. But if you want to do one of these with me, throw it in the comments and I'll make sure you get scheduled in for the month of December because I am booked out for the whole month and for November. Yeah, December. Enjoy the day, everybody. And we'll talk to you again soon. And where in the world is, who knows? Until next time.
Thanks, Jeanette.